Hello everyone, welcome back to the TrainnedAssassin channel. Some of you will be shocked to find out I am actually still alive and kicking, and uploading now for the first time in what feels like a millennium. I'm sure you have many questions of why did the channel go into hiatus, why am I coming back now, and I'm going to be going over all of this very shortly. First of all, since I stopped uploading, it appears the channel has actually grown by over 1,000 subscribers. So people are still finding it and watching it. If you've joined in that time, thank you very much. And I'm going to be going over very briefly what this channel was all about, why it was set up, and why it eventually died down. I began this channel with this very punny name of TrainnedAssassin all the way back in 2016, where I decided to make my own model form videos of original Thomas stories. Thomas the Tank Engine was one of the principal reasons why I got into model railways and trains in general, and I wanted to start making some more model stories, seeing as that had been lost from the brand over the years. From there, I got my first series up and going called Farquhar Yards and started to build my own custom models of characters that you couldn't get off the shelf from Hornby or Bachmann. These model characters led to me getting recruited as a prop builder for the Thomas Creator Collective for the official Thomas & Friends 75th anniversary celebrations on their YouTube channel. And I was roped in to build models of upcoming characters for new Thomas films, from the new series, for making content on the official Thomas YouTube channel. Over time, I managed to acquire a lot of assets, a lot of model scenery pieces, a lot of engines, a lot of rolling stock, continued building my own channel. I then moved on to do a 12-part series called Sodor the Magic Within, as a sequel series to the worst Thomas film in existence, if public opinion is to be believed, of Thomas and the Magic Railroad. So I wrote and rewrote The Magic Within, I filmed and refilmed The Magic Within, and it was very taxing actually to do this full-time alongside my university degree, as well as coordinate all the filming, building the temporary sets, coordinating voice work, and then doing all the editing of the episodes as well. So after that series, it wrapped about the time when I finished university. I got my first full-time job, moved house, moved somewhere where I didn't have the room to build these temporary sets anymore, didn't have the time around work to actually do any episode filming or editing, so I decided from then on it was probably best to wind down my activity on YouTube. In the meantime, I focused more on my modelling, so I did a lot more modelling of rolling stock, of figurines, not just from Thomas but from wider franchises and interests as well. I wanted to broaden my horizons a bit and bring things into the model railway sphere for myself, from my wider interests, to have a more integrated and expansive sandbox for me to use my models with. And then, about 9 months after I finished university, we got hit by the COVID pandemic and lockdown, so I found myself stuck at home, needing to find things to do, so I started doing a lot of modelling to keep myself occupied. So I built a small COVID layout. It's a small shelf layout, just a strip of track and a little bit of scenery, so I could have a train out, any train out, while in my small rented accommodation, even if I couldn't run anything. Another small layout I built was a small coffee table diorama for turning a recycled fish tank into a coffee table. So I built a small HO gauge road system in there using the Magnorail system. Unfortunately, it wasn't as successful as I hoped, so I need to revisit that at some point. Also during 2020, we got the news that Thomas & Friends was going to be rebooted into a horrendous 2D kiddies show, so I took the time during the lockdowns to write myself a sort of finale to the railway series Thomas & Friends universe called The Island Swan Song, which I released chapter by chapter on my Wattpad profile. The response to that has been astounding. It has now been read over 140,000 times and continues to be read, even though I've not worked on it for almost 2 years now. People love the storytelling, what I've done with the characters, so if you haven't checked that out already, please check out my Wattpad profile, which is linked in the description below. I'm currently working on another railway-themed series on there called The Tales of Gehirian Circle. It's about a small railway, preserved railway, that is got a lot of hauntings. It's told in a more anthology style. So if you're interested in trains and spooky stories, then feel free to check that out as well. Shameless plug over, back to the modelling. So during COVID, I found I had the stressful task of having to move house again. So I moved in with a work colleague and we got a 3-bed house, which was significantly bigger than my 1-bed. I looked at revising my Farquhar Mark II layout, which I was going to build using parts of my old Farquhar layout from my 2016 days to make something that was exhibition worthy and more reflective of the Thomas and Friends sets from the show. However, 5 months after that, I found out that I had to move again during the second lockdown and ended up moving back into an even smaller 1-bed house that did not even have enough room for my small Magna Rail coffee table. Once again, I was restricted to not having any trains out, being stuck modelling on the odd tiny thing one at a time, and really couldn't do anything with a lot of the models that I now had in my collection. Still, I persevered, I tried to be stubborn, I tried to build a small first radius loop layout so I could at least run some of my smaller trains. That was another failure. Very few of my trains liked or would stay on the rails for that radius, so I had to chalk that up as another failed layout that I could no longer work on. So, stepping away from the modelling aspect, I decided to spend a lot of my time visiting real railways instead post-COVID to help give them an economic boost towards recovery. I read about some of the engines I was seeing and riding on, started making a collection of non-Thomas locomotives as well to use, those that I'd seen in real life and ridden or wanted to see. Did the same thing with rolling stock, looked at realistic rolling stock, read about these preserved lines and their histories, and really got into a lot of the stuff that inspired the Rev Audrey with his railway series in the first place. So, that's a little overview of where I've been, what I've been doing. So why am I back now? At the start of this year, me and my partner were very fortunate to be able to put down for our first house to get out of the horrible, tiny, dingy rental market, and we've managed to secure ourselves and move into a nice 3-bed house with 3 bedrooms, one of which is going spare. And I think you can all see where this is going, can't you? Since moving in, I've been working on the design for a new layout that I can build and actually run all of these engines and models that I've got. I can have them out on display. So I've made a neat little loop layout for running trains round. I'm going to build it. I'm in the process. I have the baseboards. And I thought that seeing as I'm going to be doing all of this modelling using techniques that I've known in the past, new techniques that I'm learning, a lot of people in my old Thomas videos would ask me for details about how I built particular models, how I painted certain things, etc, etc. So I thought I'm going to be doing all of this modelling. This is the perfect moment to return to YouTube and go through all of this modelling that I'm doing, showing you how it's done from scratch, how I go about building certain things, doing certain details on the layout, and walking you through a lot more of the nitty-gritty modelling techniques that I use. There's not going to be any new Thomas videos or content. I'm not going to be building temporary sets or anything like that. This new content is going to be wholly focused on serious, technical, detailed modelling of my new railway layouts. A lot of the modelling I'm going to be doing is not going to be your typical trying to recreate a historical prototype as exactly as possible, or a certain period in the history of the railways. I'm trying to think a little bit more outside the box of the kind of things that I want on a layout, to try and make it more unique, more pleasing to the eye, and get people thinking about their own creative ways to incorporate things that they enjoy into their railways or miniature modelling or other hobbies. I'm going to be looking at how to work with height, trying to make scenes that depict environments underwater as well as above water on the surface. And I'm going to be trying to make mountains to add topography and landscaping to the terrain as well, to really add depth to the layout, as well as trying other things such as unique building interiors, such as having a natural history museum on the layout featuring miniature dinosaur skeletons and other exhibits, as well as some more electronic technical features such as a drive-in cinema that can be added and removed, and a lot of other really neat things I really want to try in model form. I won't be retreading a lot of the basic modelling techniques that have already been covered very well on YouTube, such as track painting and laying, joining baseboards, laying cork underlay, that kind of thing. I'm going to be focused more on the experimental detailing and things that I'm doing with the layout. Yeah, and while I say it is not going to be very Thomas focused, I'm sure we will see familiar faces from Sodor crop up from time to time. And if you look carefully, there may actually be one or two behind me right now. So that's a little bit of background of what I'm doing with the channel. Off the back of that, I've decided to retire the old TrainnedAssassin name and come up with a new, slightly more professional look for the channel and a slightly more professional name. Yet my stupid brain decided this has to be a pun as well. So on the topic of Thomas, I was thinking about the song The Night Train, how my surname's also Night, and I thought, aha, we shall call this new phase of the channel The Night Train. So there we are now all up to date, and I thought I'd put together a small sizzle reel showing you the modelling that I'm currently working on, and to give you an idea of the work and videos and things that I've got coming up in the near future. So check it out. There you go, a little snippet of lots of exciting things I'm working on the layout. The underwater section is getting started, the museum is built, if not any more yet. Still lots to be done in lots of different areas, including buying the rest of the track and getting the track plan down, which leads me into the news of my next video, which is going to be looking at the layout plan, all the small things that I want to do with it, how it all maps out onto each other, and really getting that ball rolling and everyone understanding what my ambition is trying to achieve. My future videos will be focusing on this, as well as my modelling techniques, building little dioramas, running sessions of my trains because I can actually have them running, finally. A little bit of engine customization work as well, because I know people have been interested in that in the past. Perhaps some reviews as well, and any other videos or ideas that you want to see me do, please comment below and I will have a look and see what I can do. So there we are, that is me back in the seat, channel is back, hopefully going to be uploading again in the very near future. If you want to see the channel grow, if you want to support what I'm doing and see how this layout progresses over time, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts, what are you excited about me getting up to, what do you think I should possibly do with this channel in the future, what would you like to see, and let me know, get the conversation going, and we can see what exciting things we can build in this brand new railway room. So thank you again everybody, and I will see you much sooner than the last time I did. Take care.